Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of the ECL Elite Division right here on Sports Gamer. My name is Tugi, joined as always by my broadcast partner, Mr. Sin, for the win. And Sin, today, well, it's two more matchups throughout this new regular season, and we kick things off with what has turned into a heavyweight tilt between hREDS and Heimo.
Yeah, Heimo has gotten off to a fantastic start in this season. They have looked incredibly strong, particularly on the offensive side of things. And, that's going to be important against this HRED squad. Of course, FaZe is back in the net for them. So they're going to need all their offensive guns to be firing today.
Absolutely. Again, a lot going on throughout the ECL, of course, not just within the Elite Division, although that is our focus here today. The second week of action continues on after a very interesting broadcast on Monday that unfortunately I had to miss. But you get a look at the games that are on deck today around the league. Of course, not all of them on broadcast with us here, but we'll continue to update you on the standings throughout the day. Very interesting matchup between Lexans and Mayhems that I got to be honest, I was hoping to be able to cover two new teams that are off to, well, pretty decent starts within the Elite Division, but sent quite a few interesting games going on. I mean, you have Totarit taking on Tunnel Vision, big challenge for last season's pro champions. The struggling Feriestad taking on Frölunda. Maybe not the easiest matchup for them to try and get their season back under control.
No, definitely not. Feriestad, having some trouble with the roster turnover that they did have. And, they had already kind of begun to be on the back foot over the course of the last season, especially. So, yeah, we may be seeing a bit of a changing of the guard when it comes to some of these teams, but that opens up a lot of possibilities for some of these quote unquote younger squads to get their licks in. Of course, you see Feriestad down there currently at the bottom of the standings with no points yet, 0-4 to start things off. Just not what we are used to seeing Feriestad in the standings.
Absolutely not. And of course, our matchup to kick things off, the battle of the current 2 and 3 seeds, hREDS and Heimo. Again, the left-hand side of the bracket is where you want to be at the end of the regular season. You'll be one of our 8 playoff teams if you do so. But of course, in looking at the standings, now is the perfect time to mention something new that we have going on here at Sports Gamer, where you can go to sportsgamer.gg/ECL prediction and let us know what you think. What will the final version of the standings look like after 30 games completed? We have numerous prizes up for grabs for those of you that do partake. And of course, make sure to share on Twitter with the hashtag ECL23 prediction. And it is first come, first serve. So make sure to get those predictions in, because if you are right, you'll get that reward. I mean, again, it's just a matter, Sin, of being punctual and just making things happen early. Be proactive when it comes to this, and you could be rewarded. And who knows, maybe Sin and I will share our thoughts sometime in the near future. But Sin, all things considered, great opportunity for people to try to get their predictions in on what is always a very unpredictable situation, of course, with our
Yeah.
regular season standings. And again, you just saw with the standings, who would have thought through 4 games, Feriestad would be the lone team without a point? Who would have thought that Lexans would be, what was it, 5th place right now, if not 4th? I mean, it's been a crazy start to this season, as it typically tends to be.
Yeah, of course, there's some games played discrepancy, but yeah, again, it just seems to be more and more we're seeing pro teams come up, and at least a couple of them making some kind of a splash. Heimo last year, Reality Check last year, both of them making the playoffs right out of the gate, and that wasn't a common occurrence. All that long ago. And, I'm thinking back to a couple of years ago, it was hard for pro teams to be able to jump up and stay here, but there's just so much more competition and a lot more parity. The pro teams getting better and better, and when they make their way up into the elite, they are ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better with that. Let's switch our focus to the task at hand. It is again 2 games between hREDS and Heimo in the regular season matchup between these two clubs, as you get a look at the team stats through this early stage of the season. Both teams offensively proficient, but of course it is hREDS right now, Sim, with the better defensive record and a better record overall at 7-1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. And Heimo hasn't really been able to get that power play going so far, but hREDS, as they always kind of are, strong on the special teams side of things. A perfect penalty kill thus far and a power play that is near 40%. That's incredibly strong, but a bit slower on the offensive side of things is hREDS. Yes, there's a 2 game play differential between the pair, but and 10 goals differential as well. So kind of expecting hREDS to try get a few more goals here. They haven't quite gotten to that yet, but defensively, they're monsters.
With that, we'll take a look at the lineups for this matchup here tonight. For hREDS, it is, of course, Villapoika, Benito, and Nicky Dangles as the front three. Domi and Teemu on defense with FaZe in goal. On the other side, Paananen, Satapoika, and the captain Emil with Make Axel and Sakam on defense, and Vamo in goal for Heimo. Let's take a look at the center comparison here to kick things off. It is Benito against Satapoika, two of the most experienced players in the elite division. And Sin, strong numbers for both so far this season.
Yep, as you expect, Benito sitting in there with 2 points per game average, a goal per game as well. But how about Satapoika? Same type of deal right here. This is an incredibly even matchup between the pair of them, and the only real difference that comes down is the face-off battle where Benito has the advantage in that, but Satapoika, again, picking up where he left off from last season. He's been incredibly good with this roster. He's probably playing some of the best hockey of his ECL career right now, and that's exactly what this Heimo team needs and exactly why they find themselves where they are in the standings.
Absolutely. We'll go over to the winger comparison here next. Again, as mentioned, Villapoika and Nicky Dangles squaring off against last season's Rookie of the Year in Wade Paananen alongside Emil on that right-hand side. And Sin, it has been a tremendous, what would you say now, 40 games for Paananen in terms of Elite Division regular season performance. He has been off to a phenomenal start so far this year. And of course, we kind of look at him perhaps in the similar comparison to what we saw from Nicky Dangles when he first got into this league, just that offensive explosion. But we've seen it now from both Villapoika and Nicky Dangles, that two-way ability and how that helped take hREDS to the next level. It is up to the Heimo duo here on the wings to prove that they can defend just as well as they can put up points. And if they can, this could be a very memorable season for them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the next step in their elite careers here is building that, exceptional two-way game. What has gotten Heimo in trouble is sometimes they kind of get into shooting matches in games, and it really comes down to who scores last. And against hREDS, yeah, it's simply not going to work. They are an incredible team in every single facet of the game here. And yes, Villapoika and Nicky Dango's point totals right now a bit lower than we may expect them to see. But yeah, it's that defensive ability that both of them have that really gives teams fits.
And of course, the defensive matchup here next, Domi and Teemu for hREDS, Make Axel and Sakam on the other side. We always talk about, the forwards being proficient defensively. We also talk about the defenders being proficient offensively. And I mean, not too many defenders are keeping up with the point total that we see from Make Axel so far this season. He has been instrumental in their offensive output.
Yeah, still searching for his first goal of the season, as is Sakam, and Domi doesn't have one as well. But this is kind of what hREDS I think have been sort of building towards. The loss of King of Apes, you do lose a little bit of offense on that back end, but now it's kind of by committee. Both Domi and Teemu very capable of putting up those points, but they are again probably two of the most competent defenders in their own end in this league. They're insane in the neutral zone. They will pick off those long stretch passes, and we know that Heimo likes to do those to get those rushes. They're going to have to be very careful about that counterattack, and Maki Axel and Sakam going to have to be using all of their skill to try to slow down the attack of Nicky Dangles and Villapoika on the wings.
And of course, that brings us to our final head to head, the battle of the goaltenders. It is FaZe squaring off here against Vamo. Now, Sin, as expected, FaZe's availability is going to be a big question mark throughout this season for hREDS. They have gone with Teme quite a bit this season, but obviously, when FaZe has played so far in the one series that he did, he was lights out. But what about Vamo on the other side? I mean, it's early. It's early. But man, oh man, if he can keep up this level of play, he has been outstanding.
Yeah, and this is the ultimate test, really. You're taking on hREDS, the team that is still a juggernaut, despite getting knocked out in the semifinals last season. This is still a juggernaut. Until they kind of prove or get proved that they aren't in that regard, which I don't know if that's going to happen with the continued, strong lineup that they have. Vamo is going to have to be sharp because hRED is going to get scoring chances. And Vamo, we've seen him at times making big saves and standing on his head. He's going to need to do that. Like you said, we kind of know what we're getting with FaZe, even though we may not play a lot over the course of this season. He's exceptionally strong in net, and he's going to make those big saves. So if you're Vamo, you have to try to match his ability and make those key saves for your team.
So again, the big regular season matchup between these two clubs. Every team meets each other once in a series, of course, 2 games apiece to round out our 30-game schedule. And this is one of those moments in where, in terms of shaping a championship run, you could look back at matchups like this where you're maybe not expected to win as heavily. You talk about hREDS maybe playing a team in the bottom in the bottom 8, if not say like the bottom 5. And yeah, you certainly expect them to win. And you look at those to say, oh, they drop points. That's obvious. But these are those type of matchups where you really want to secure 3 to 4 points on the day to get that extra bit of separation, give yourself that much better of an opportunity to hit one of those top seeds in the playoffs, because we have seen how important seeding can be in the postseason. Again, knowing that whoever gets that number 1 seed, you're going to avoid one of those other top teams en route. At least in theory, it's an easier path to the final. Again, everything to play for throughout all 30 games this season. And of course, a little bit later on, this is not our only matchup of the broadcast. A little bit later on, it'll be Yippee Voskala taking on Redhawks Esport. And another interesting matchup, of course, Yippee Voskala making the playoffs last season. Very much looking to return this year, while Redhawks, again, a team of seen a lot of veterans who have managed to hang around in the Elite Division for a long time. This season, they're looking to do a little bit more than just hang around and secure their spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have looked quite good at times throughout the course of this regular season. And they're going to try to have to shake some of the demons that have haunted them in the past, which is a lack of scoring at times. But they've made some, internal lineup changes, of course, with Martindale going back onto the point. And again, he's been pretty darn good for them so far. So Redhawks are definitely a team to kind of keep an eye on.
Absolutely. So, Sim, with that, you see the 2 teams in the lobby here about ready to go. No real surprises necessarily. Still seeing a lot of puck movers and, of course, the playmakers down the middle, elite edges across the board. But as we have talked about all season long, big change this year. For the first time, we saw certain, X factors being, banned, is for lack of a better term. No big tipper, close quarters, truculence, or unstoppable force. But we have seen players kind of find that workaround. Instead of close quarters, you find make it snappy. You'll see some other players, a lot of guys now using puck on a string for that faster handling. We'll see kind of how things continue to play out. And a reminder, of course, we mentioned there's a lot going on here at Sports Gamer. Still so much to come this week, including the continued coverage of both the Swedish and Finnish championships. Of course, a live final this weekend for both the 1v1 and sixes side of things for the Finnish championship. So make sure to pay, attention, be locked in for everything that we have going on here at Sports Gamer. But Sin, in terms of what you may have seen from these lineups and what we've seen so far this season, I mean, how are you feeling so far in terms of the big change as far as X factors are concerned?
It's we definitely haven't seen the lack of scoring that some people were thinking without close quarters here, as Heimo gets into the zone quite early looking to threaten, and it's interesting. It's just showing how much flexibility there is in how you build your guy. The meta can always shift and whatever you're comfortable with.
Very, very true. A lot of concerns that goaltending would be dominant, and I think so far it's been the best goaltenders in the league have been dominant, but unless you're at that extremely high level, yeah, you are still susceptible to allowing some goals. What a stop early by Vamo. Initially wasn't sure if he got a piece of it. Only knew because that X Factor badge lit up. You see a huge hit there. Speaking of getting lit up, but what a save early on by Vamo.
Yeah, absolutely massive there. They set up that one-timer from kind of far out, and we've been seeing that a lot more here in the EU side of things. You know, a lot more one-timers coming from far out, even including on the rush. You know, sending that center to drive the net, trying to pull away one of the defensemen so that lane will open up. We see that more with the teams who are rocking the gold 1T, but, you know, the silver, you can still kind of snipe on the goalie from distance if you need to. So, very sharp by Vamo early on.
Pass off the mark. Of course, we saw Domi working with an injury now for the next couple of minutes. A bit of trouble there for Sokum. Gets out of danger. Here's Sada Poika rushing down the ice. Sends it across, and Faye is able to get a pad to it. Not the cleanest reception on the far side.
Yeah, but, you know, in that situation, when you have the odd man, it's worth a shot right there. Even a bouncing puck can find its way back in the net. And Heimo, they love kind of those cross-ice passes.
Took the lane back. Ponin in here. Drop it to the corner, took the hit. Sadapoika tries to cut back. A little bit of trouble for FaZe, keeps it out. Emil now again testing that short side. FaZe protecting the post. Benito, great cut back to pass though off the mark. In game 1 of 2 between these two clubs in this regular season matchup. ECL Elite Division. Emil takes the hit. Heimo. Willing to take their time, get a nice controlled breakout here. There is the patented hREDS 5-man on the blue line. I mean, we say patented, Sim, because there aren't too many teams on either side. We're talking NA, EU, doesn't matter. There aren't too many teams who can patrol the blue line like hREDS.
Absolutely not, especially just lined up five wide, essentially. We've seen some, you know, 1-4s over the course of this season, but yeah, that 5-man is just a staple in their game, and they work it to perfection.
Puck low, Ponanen throws it off the side of the cage. Nicky dangles, head of steam down the other way for Domi, throws it on net. Pass, but still forcing a save from Vamo, nearly turned over by Make Axel, and ultimately, it is hREDS in control. Benito. Back to Teemu at the point. Gonna go with that switch for Domi. We've seen that a lot this season. Shot blocked down. hREDS still in possession. Teemu for Domi. Heimo continuing to clog up the slot. Trouble there. Puck behind the back of the net. Teemu pinches in to maintain possession. Dangles drop pass. Finally a bit of relief here for Heimo. Will it only be temporary? The answer... well, we'll find out after that battle in the neutral zone that ultimately leads to an offside, but good zone time for hREDS.
Yeah, it absolutely was, but you saw Heimo there. With the second they got the puck, they tried to stretch the ice. They're going to try to beat that trap before it really gets set up, but hREDS is so quick at, you know, being able to have those layers in defense, and they're able to get back, slow things down, and that's exactly what you want to do, especially if you're a defenseman. Try to slow down the transition, allow your forwards to back check and get themselves into a better position. That led to the offside right there. So a reprieve that was very, very brief, but you're going to have to continue to try to stretch that game out at times, but also when they get it in the zone, you know, they're kind of trying to go to the front of the net as quick as possible at times, and they may want to just try to work the perimeter a little bit more, not just for the, you know, trying to get a scoring chance, but to try to keep hREDS out of their zone as well. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense.
Heimo in the zone. Here's Sokum at the point. Drops back for Emil. Takes the hit. hREDS back in control. We saw a couple of good offensive opportunities for both clubs. What a poke check there by Ponin, and foot race for the puck. He has it, and layers in defense for hREDS. Able to pay off. Good zone time for both teams. Seen it start to slow down a little bit. Pass in front. Great save by Vamo. The opportunity for Benito. He dangles. Villapoica able to get that shot through. Final 30 seconds. Heimo into the attacking zone. Sock him down low for Emil. The spin. He scores! What a goal! Finding the breakthrough. The captain. 1-0 Heimo.
That's a beautiful play right there. I mean, there's not much else you can say about that. What a play by Sockham, joining the rush, creating that space on the wing, then fending off two hREDS players. You see him jump up right there, and there's all kinds of space. He gains the line, tries to power through, realizes he can't, stops, pulls over three hREDS people onto the board, so he's able to get that one down low, and then ML takes it from there.
Omi for Teemu, shot blocked down. Ponanen will kill the clock, and that will do it. A back and forth opening 20 minutes. The opening goal late is 1-0 for Heimo.
Yeah, well, hREDS has gotten a lot of good zone time. I like what Heimo's doing. They're kind of just giving them the perimeter. And we saw that an awful lot on the, well, I'll flash back to last season when we were covering the NACL. Entourage did that tons. They eventually turned out to be the world champions. When they were facing Scary Hours, we saw Scary Hours with a lot of good zone time, but it was all on the outside. They gave that to them. The second they try to get into the middle, that's when they attack. But we're seeing also Ponanen and Emil kind of rotate, pressuring the point guys so they don't have too much time. And that's exactly what you're going to have to do against hREDS. Try to keep them out of those high danger areas and not get too aggressive, because if you get too aggressive and overcommit, we know Nicky Dangles and Villapoica are insanely skilled with the puck, and they can get around that first check. And when they do, all kinds of space opens up for them to be able to make those plays and find those soft spots. So Heimo's defending really well right now. They've gotten that first goal. They're going to have to keep pushing, have to try to keep getting that offense when they can, because we know hREDS, when they get their backs against the ball, they just find ways to score.
Second period action underway here, brought to you as always by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi. In game 1 of 2 between these two clubs, currently second and third in league standings. In the early stages, still the first third of this new season. Shot on there, taken high to the chest by FaZe. He'll be forced to freeze the puck, but Sin really liking the willingness, especially from Emil here, to throw the puck on net.
Yes, and it was a great forecheck that led to that. The first initial pass around the net, then kind of missed time, but Emil got on there on the forecheck and turned the puck over and got a shot out of it.
Villapoica able to recover this puck. Make Axel tried to throw it on and deflected away. Back in front, bouncing puck, that one somehow doesn't find the back of the net. Great start to the second period here for Heimo, but now it's hREDS in the attacking zone. Domi takes his time, sends it down low. Villapoica wanted that play back in front. One-timer Teemu, good stop by Vamo. hREDS still in control, still in on the attack. A bit of miscommunication there between Teemu and Domi, but Teemu draws the tripping call. We'll see if they let FaZe get out nearly to the bench, and here comes the extra attacker. We have seen a goalie goal already this season. Feed in front, and Heimo finally get a touch to it, but a power play coming up for hREDS.
Yeah, I think that's a case of Ponanen getting a bit too aggressive and coming out a little bit too far right there. We saw that a bit more on that possession as they were getting more aggressive, trying to force that turnover. A little bit antsy in their own end right there, and that, yeah, it was a kind of a double poke right there. The first one missed, and he hit that button once again, went straight into the feet of Teemu there, and so we're going to have to kill off a 2-minute minor here, which is tough. hREDS power play nearly 40% early on.
Sockham in possession. Sends it all the way down. Even a free save there for FaZe. Let's see what this hREDS power play can cook up. The answer, not much so far, but Sockham couldn't clear it. Back again, they score! It looked so good for Heimo in the early stages, but Sockham unable to clear that puck in hREDS. Make them pay. We're tied at 1.
I think that's, I mean, obviously the blocked clearing attempt is huge, but that is a mistake by the two forwards on the side of Heimo. When they saw Sockham get that puck and look to clear it, they started moving up the ice, and you simply can't do that. Look at them, both of them right there, turning up the ice, expecting to chase that puck down, but you have to wait until that puck is out of the zone. That led to a huge outnumbered situation down low for hREDS, already on the man advantage, and they capitalize on it. Benito ties this game up.
Out there, Sin, and indeed we are now tied. It's hREDS looking again to get that offensive zone time. They're able to find relatively consistently. Aggressive stick checking there. Still Heimo down the other way. Make Axel tries to break through. Around the back of the net. First up high. Poika there covering for the defense. Weaving his way through. Can find the captain there. Sock'em down low for Pannanen. Stripped of the puck by Domi. hREDS trying to get into the attacking zone. Good job by Make Axel to cut out that rush. But Heimo still under threat here in their own zone. Nicky Dangles for Villapoika, the backhand. An absurd pass. There's the quick out on net, forcing a stop from FaZe. Remo can go. Sock'em right back to him. Wanted the feed in front. Benito was there. No icing. 6:40 to play here in the second period. A tying goal for hREDS a few moments ago on the power play. Get a bouncing puck, man down. Power play chance of their own coming up for Heimo. On the tripping
yeah, that was actually... Yeah, Domi was up in the play right there. I was like, that's a forward, right? No, it's Domi all the way up there. So he has been known to take some stick penalties in the past, but usually not in that situation right there. Gets a stick in the legs. I think it was Poika there in the middle of the ice. Nonetheless, a huge power play opportunity for Heimo.
Good win off the draw there for hREDS, and now we'll see if Heimo can... that break-in they want to regain the zone. It's easier said than done despite the man advantage, but they do indeed gain the zone. On and then back for Make Axel. What are they looking to cook up here? Plenty of patience on display at the point. Already halfway through this power play. Puck ends up in front. FaZe forced to cover. Not quite sure, though, what Heimo were looking for, Sid. I mean, I'm trying to see, like, okay, are they trying to get the defense to move? But not much going on there.
No, I thought initially they were trying to open up a one-timer for Pannanen, but they kept looking him off even when he was open, and then the defenseman goes down low and just tries to kind of force the slot right there. That was kind of a lot of time for not a whole lot, and I don't think they even have a registered shot so far in this power play.
10 seconds to go. There is a shot attempt that deflects wide. Chop fails. Space here. That pass off the mark nearly into the hands of Domi. He's in a foot race for it. Puck below the goal line. Domi has it. Ends up back to the point. That shot blocked. hREDS still taking advantage of that errant pass, but a turnover here maybe opens up space for Heimo. Down the other way. Sock'em at the point. Great stick work from Villapoika. Couldn't get the puck. Follow-up effort. It's hREDS in control. Nicky Dangles back for Teemu. Domi with the reverse. Down into the corner. Final minute of play here in the second period. Teemu for Nicky Dangles. Circling. Looking for maybe that perfect opportunity if they can find it. Benito back to him. 3 seconds to go. Domi, one-timer. That one doesn't go. And that will do it for the second period. Get a look at a hit here by Sock'em, but it was the tying goal for Benito early on in the second period on the power play.
Yeah, and hREDS have been coming back extraordinarily strong after that early goal on the side of Heimo, and that's kind of what we expect. They're going to try to continue to dictate the pace of play as they have done, and you see them with that time and attack advantage, but both teams have a fair amount. Shots are pretty even as well. The passing percentages are in good shape. The face-offs are really close. This is an even matchup right here, but I do think that Heimo needs to be a little bit more decisive with what they're trying to do at times. And I think on the last possession that they had, you saw Sock'em kind of get the puck on the boards, rotate to the middle to get an angle, but, you know, had an opportunity to maybe shoot, had an opportunity to pass to his point guy, but kind of had that puck knocked away, which created a transition. And I think it needs to be a few more quicker decisions on the side of Heimo, a little bit more being deliberate in what they want. Because there was a shooting lane right there, and also a passing lane to his D-man, but it ended up being a turnover.
Here we go, third period underway, tie game. Pannanen throws one on, puck still bouncing around, and it's in, but being waved off. We'll get another look at this one, not expected to count. Tough to
I'm
see
curious
who that really
as to
went
why
on.
not. Yeah. I'm a bit curious to see as to why not it wouldn't count. Uh, I I don't know what they're ruling on that. There was some bumps on the goaltender slightly, but it was well before the puck actually went in.
Maybe a tough break there against Heimo, but we continue on. And a wake-up call for hREDS early on here in this third period. Moving through the neutral zone, puck knocked loose. Heimo, smart pass by Sadapoika. Back to the defense, let them do their thing. Help lead it up by Ace. Miscommunication there, though, leads to the offside.
That was so close right there. Socken was just trying to get the blade of a stick and that puck in the zone right there to allow the forwards to begin to streak down low, but just slightly mistimed.
Off the face-off, hREDS now able to tie it up at 8 wins apiece. Miscommunication of their own, forced to drop back, and perhaps this is what the third period will look like as both teams some staunch defending at their own blue line.
So what Heimo's gonna need, you know, it can be a heartbreaker for that goal to get called back when you thought you had a good one, but you know, take the positive from that. What'd they do? Quick shot on net, crash in the net, tried to get traffic, and you know, just trying to find that puck.
There we go, chance, and Emil just couldn't hold it. Caught up in his skates. Axel. The trouble with the pass, he gets it back, stripped of the puck. Here's Villapoika, head of steam, down the other way, the cut back to the backhand, but it's knocked loose. Heimo in control, Emil forced to take his time. Very high press here from hREDS, and it works. Benito, good patience. Has Domi, couple options, Villapoika down low, wanted Nicky Dangles, taken away, recovered, wraparound, no, it's a pass across, and they score! A wide open net for Villapoika, and a lead for hREDS. Well earned off of that forecheck.
I was just going to point that out. That was the most non-aggressive, aggressive forecheck that I've ever seen. They did not overcommit. They came in, but it's mostly to kind of cut out the passing lanes. We unfortunately won't get a look at it on this replay, but you see just what they do when the second they get that puck down low, they go to work behind the net, the pass out front, and yeah, no chance really for Vamo on that one, fully committed to stopping that wraparound. As we know, Nicky Dangles is quite good at it, and he has a lot of different tricks up his sleeve when he's coming behind the net, but that one just a beautiful pass to Villapoika, capitalization, and now hREDS exactly where they want to be, up by 1 here in the third period.
We continue on. Was Heimo scoring the opening goal late in the first period. 2 goals for hREDS. Since that point, space here for Benito. Toe drag scores! Eat your heart out, Austin Matthews. There's the real shock and awe. 3-1 hREDS here in the third period.
Filthy. But what else do you expect from Benito? He is so good at shooting off of dekes and so good at making things happen. And that time, just beautiful. Nice pass from Domi, giving them that space. And you see Axel having to go across kind of in panic mode as his defensive partner got beat. And he gets beat as well. Benito, disgusting move.
His individual highlight reel this season is already off the charts, and they have played less than 10 games.
Yeah.
3-1 for hREDS. A called-off goal for Heimo opened the door for their opponents to take advantage, but still 7.5 minutes to go in this game. Heimo's not out of it until that final buzzer. Sock'em the interception, gets it to Sadapoika. He's off to his left, Axel shot deflected, good stop by FaZe, puck still in trouble. Benito able to slow it down. With 6 minutes to go, hREDS. Good movement through the middle, but maybe a bit too much movement. They are offside.
And time ticking away quickly right here, and hREDS just kind of playing the possession game, neutral zone, offensive zone. They want to try to wind that time down as much as possible with the 2-goal lead. Heimo needs to take control right now. They need a quick one.
Interesting play there. Sets hREDS up for another possession. They have space. Villapoika throws it on. Vamo able to make the save there.
Good decision from Villapoica right there. Don't want to force that pass and get a turnover. Just kind of put that one on. You never know. He puts it in at well after the whistle for good measure. But yeah, forces a face-off down low. Now Heimo have to work it out of there, and that's going to take at least 30 seconds off the clock. And then still have the matter of entering the zone, maintaining possession. But here they come with a 3-on-2 possibly.
What Paananen can do against Teemu, sends it across for Satapoika. It's knocked loose. Benito now up ahead. Villapoica and Nikki dangles over the blue line. Takes a huge hit there from Make Axel. 3 minutes left for Heimo to work with, nearly. Satapoika, 3 down the middle. Go back to the point for Sakam. Tries to go down low. Emil banks it off the back of the net. Puck still bouncing around. Sakam one-timer doesn't get through. Paananen shot glove down as FaZe finds it through the traffic.
Desperation mode setting in for Heimo right now, trying to just set something up, and then they just resolve to just firing the puck on net, forcing a good save out of FaZe. They need to keep this up right here.
Off the draw, they're in control. Another shot on, stopped by FaZe. Straight ones on the clock. Still just the 1 goal for Heimo in this one. Not what we were expecting, given their offensive proficiency so far this season. Of course, a strong start to the game. Looking for that second goal. Can they find it? FaZe down in the butterfly early. Seals off that post. And Sin, he is a goaltender that gets more and more confident the more saves that he's able to make. And right now, he's making it look easy.
Yeah, not only that, he's just eating those pucks. He's not allowing any rebounds, which is what Heimo needs. Chaos.
As Sakam, the cutback, shot on, deflects wide. Make Axel able to recover. Satapoika tried to get that feed in front. Off of the head fake. Has it back again. Looking, has to send it around the boards. And again, back down low. Satapoika in front, another great look. Make Axel, 30 seconds to go. Satapoika's centering feeds continually broken up. Domi has it, outlet off the boards, early contact. No pen, no icing. Recovered by Villapoica. Nikki dangles in front. Benito cleans it up. And that will do it. Hat-trick hero. 4-1 hREDS.
It just seems like hREDS. You said FaZe gets better as the game goes along. That's a collective of all of them as well. Just, you know, hungry in front of the net. Benito scoring is in a variety of ways. And that time, you know, right time, right place. But it's all about positioning in that case. You have 2 men down low. He goes straight to the front. That first initial pass actually got through the defenseman. He put that quick shot on and was able to get to the loose puck as well. Yes, indeed. That will indeed do it, but they may not be done.
Here's Benito one more time. Puck loose in the blue paint. Amo will cover with 1 second to go. And maybe hREDS pulling the goaltender as
oh man.
Yeah, indeed they do. A little bit of sass, a little bit of attitude at the end of the game. It is a pretty convincing victory though for hREDS as they take game 1 of 2 against Heimo.
That was art that Heimo wanted. They just couldn't quite continue it. hREDS, you know, kind of got that tying marker and then began to take over the game. But yeah, again, there's a few opportunities there that I think Heimo had missed out on early on, and that kind of made it a bit tougher from them. You need to try to jump on hREDS very, very early and then kind of weather the pushback storm while still being able to get some chances here. And at times, Heimo was a bit indecisive with the puck, particularly on that power play opportunity. We both were kind of puzzled at what exactly they were looking for because there were certain looks that were open. Pretty decent looks on a power play that could generate, you know, a goal or just rebounds and, you know, some chaos out front, things like that. And you know, they opted not to take them, and the one kind of chance they got was a forced play after the defenseman went down low. So I think they need to kind of regroup here and think about how they're going to, you know, beat this defense, and on the defensive side as well. The second they got down in that game, it was a lot more panic mode on the defensive side. You had to try to be more aggressive, force that turnover, and that's where they don't want to find themselves. They were really good in the beginning when they were just able to keep hREDS to the perimeter and just I'll stop them from getting those high quality opportunities.
And a convincing victory here for hREDS in game 1. Love that extra patience there from Nikki Dangles to not go for the wraparound and to pass that across to a wide open Villapoica. We'll continue to get a look here at the goals. That was the toe drag shot from Benito. And again, maybe catching the defense off guard, not expecting him to be the one to get the puck, but that was picture perfect on the toe drag to create the angle on his own to actually fire that glove side. And again, Sin, that's another one of those things where people say, can you beat goaltenders by shooting the puck? Yes, yes, you can.
Yeah, and you don't need close quarters to do it either. And
Yep.
again, this is kind of just showing not only that, there's not necessarily best abilities. You see people using a lot of the same abilities because it's kind of like, well, that's what a lot of people are using, and they're having success with that. But we're seeing Make It Snappy is good. Shutdown is good. You don't need, it still does give a hitting boost. It's not quite to the level of truculence or anything like that, but there's a lot of flexibility. So I think this is just simply proving that certain meta builds are meta probably because just people use them. I don't think they're necessarily superior. I don't think close quarters is necessarily more superior than Make It Snappy. But who knows? I mean, you kind of have to compare them side by side, but things work. And I think it comes down to whatever build that you're comfortable with, whatever you like to do, what your play style is, just roll with it.
That is the way. With that, we'll be back after a brief word from our sponsor. Game 2 between hREDS and Heimo coming up. All right, everybody, we are back and ready to go. As you can see, the teams in the lobby, they are matched and ready for our second game of 2 between hREDS and Heimo. Again, a 4-1 win for hREDS in game number 1, but we'll see if they can handle the blistering yellow jerseys that they'll be having to look at for the next 15
They
to 25
changed them.
They're
Yeah,
not
they
as bad, but
no, they did change them. We noticed that in the last broadcast that Heimo was featured on, so a little bit more of a dead end than that neon bright eye hurting color that they had before.
that was a fun one. That was
Yeah.
a fun one. But with that, again, we are ready to go for this game and what could be a huge opportunity for hREDS to really advance further. I mean, Sin, they get a win in this game. They'll be 9-1 to kick off this season. A very tough pace for anybody to match. And again, if there's any team that you can expect to play at such a high level, it is hREDS. But man, oh, so rewarding for them to do so. Given some of the changes this season, some of the questions, it's like, okay, will they be able to kind of still play at that exact level? And, so far, I mean, again, they have played up to their standard, up to their expectations.
Ooh, and nearly an early kind of defensive breakdown for Heimo right there, but they get a chance.
Opportunity for ML, short side, he scores! And what a start to the game for Heimo, exactly what they needed. 1-0, just 1 minute and 3 seconds into the game.
That's beautiful. I mean, you had a near kind of a dangerous chance on the other and kind of a late 2-on-1 that occurred, but it was the counterattack. Emil way up there, and that pass, once again, beautiful sauce. Emil goes backhand and beats FaZe on the short side. Once again, a good start for Heimo here. They got to be careful and tighten up. They don't want to allow that kind of odd man situation again that happened right before they were able to counterattack and score their goal.
Turnover here, Emil on a breakaway yet again. Flying poke check from FaZe. Keeps this one out. Another close call for hREDS. They had a few in the last game. 2 already. Well, I mean, hey, 1 in this game. They gave up a goal in the previous attempt and a face-off here. What a start to the game here for Heimo, just finding space behind the hREDS defense.
That is going to make Domi and Teemu kind of think twice about where they are. Always have to be aware of a forward streaking up the ice, and that's a good sign for them.
hREDS in control here. We'll see how willing they are. Let go of the puck. Domi back for Teemu. In front, Nikki Dangles wanted Villapoica. Couldn't get that possession clean. The puck goes all the way back. Heimo off the turnover. They'll look to reset. Contact there. Villapoica up ahead for Nikki Dangles. Good cut. Back to the other side. The pass across. Nobody home. Domi circles back. One-timer just wide of the post. Secondary opportunity on the buffered backhand, and Vamo was all over it.
Yeah, he was great. He came out to challenge that initial shot and then had to get back to his left-hand side. If that shot was maybe a bit quicker, would have had a chance, but Vamo has been so sharp and so precise in his movements in the crease.
Okay, Axel in possession. A little bit of trouble again. The hREDS forecheck wins it back. Loose puck, and all they can do is chip it out of the zone. hREDS right back in. Good read there, though, by Ponanen to take it away. Satapoika stuck in a back skate. Couldn't get to the forehand. Domi able to pick this one up. Nikki Dangles down low. Benito nearly got it in front to Nikki Dangles. This one just out of the reach of Ponanen. Tough break.
Yeah, it's a good play. We've been seeing Heimo do that a lot, just kind of flipping it out with the shot and having a forward there to try to get, as he said, though, just out of his reach, and that could have been good.
Dangles tried to throw one towards goal. Sockham, who was able to take it away. Again, from hREDS, we saw the trap game early on in game one, but that forechecking pressure's been immense, giving the Heimo defense all they can handle. Here's Satapoika. Into the corner, back to the point now one more time. Quick movement here from Heimo. Feed in front, great stop there. Ponanen was denied on the short side. hREDS into the attacking zone. Benito down low, feed in front, broken up. A lot of quick passing opportunities for both of these teams. Aftermath of that opening goal. The attacking zone, it's Benito one more time, all the way back. Teemu can't get that shot through. Satapoika holds strong to the forehand, just ran out of room, nearly pulled that off. Dangles and Benito down low. And Benito wearing that golden helmet, his team's leading scorer. ML able to break it up, recovered by Villapoika. Nikki Dangles short side. Unable to sneak that one home. Fast-paced first period. Heimo looking to break through, miscommunication. Offside's the call.
Yeah, fast-paced, bit of an understatement, especially considering how that last game started off. But hREDS, when what they recognize, hey, that forecheck worked. Let's do it. And they actually cranked up the aggressiveness a little bit more, and that's, forcing a lot more turnovers and not allowing those kind of flip passes to get pulled off. But Heimo's doing a really good job of getting those sticks and bodies kind of into the slot to disrupt the passes that hREDS are trying to make. Even though they're giving up the middle at times, they're getting back. And, like I said, just putting sticks and bodies in those kind of high percentage areas, and that's broken up a couple good looks for hREDS.
Ponanen able to recover. hREDS, though, get it back. Domi bides himself some time. Has it again. Feet across, broken up. Final 2 seconds, and that will do it. Pretty wild first period that saw the goal here. 1 minute and 3 seconds into the game that has Heimo with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and again, the start that Heimo wants, but now it's just about, can you not only shut down hREDS, but build upon that lead as well, because that's what you're going to need to do. One goal, we know, is simply not going to be enough against hREDS 99% of the time, so they're going to have to keep, playing the kind of defense that they are, but get those counterattacks going. But look at that, the time and attack firmly in hREDS' favor. It is that one counterattack that Heimo was able to score off. They did have another one that FaZe came out and did the flying poke check on, and that could have been, really dangerous for hREDS to be down by 2, with not that much time in attack, but that was it right there. I was hoping we'd get a look at it. Just beautiful read by FaZe. But yeah, Heimo defending at least well enough right now, but you can only weather the storm for so long. You're going to have to get it into the hREDS zone as well and set up their own attack.
Second period about ready to begin. As always, ECL Elite Division action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Alacrity. It is game 2 between hREDS and Heimo. Again, a 4-1 win for hREDS in game 1. Benito unable to get that puck in stride. It's been very similar to what we saw in the last game, except it was a late goal from Heimo that had them with a 1-0 lead after the first 20 minutes. It was all hREDS from there.
Yeah, and to be fair, at times it's been all hREDS right here as they try to get that backdoor pass away, broken up, and here comes Heimo.
Atapoika back to the point. Quick movement again. Make Axel. Or Paninen gets it back. Delayed call here. hREDS with a rare mistake in their own zone. It will lead to a power play opportunity for Heimo. Interference is the call against Nicky Dangles.
Yeah, I kind of saw a slight bump away from the puck, I believe, on that left-hand side. And this is what Heimo need. They started getting a forecheck right there, and they, again, drew out a mistake on the side of hREDS. Now you have to make your opponent pay for that mistake. This face-off, oh so important for Satapoika to win, and they need to establish their attack and get some better looks than they got last time on that power play.
I'm going to say that. They really struggled in Game 1 on that lone power play opportunity. Much better start already to this attempt, but very similar. The patience as Panninen's shot is blocked. Teemu able to clear it all the way back down to the Heimo zone. Interesting look so far. That pass off the mark. As hREDS wind down a little bit more time, Sakam able to grab it out of midair. Atapoika for Panninen, just 40 seconds left on the man advantage. Okay, Axel looking for the switch with Sakam, gets it. Shot saved by FaZe. Good placement there. Looking for that low rebound. Often better said, as we've talked about, than just trying to force it through.
Yeah, and absolutely. That was kind of a look that I think they should continue to look for here. I'm still not sure what they were looking for in that first possession that they had. Nonetheless, a lot of time ticked off the clock, and here comes hREDS, and that'll kill the rest of this power play.
Heimo in the zone. He draws a trip of his own. And indeed, the man advantage coming up from hREDS, a successful kill. It's Pannin into the box, in case you had trouble reading that like I did. And we'll see how the hREDS power play fares.
That's a quick momentum swing right there. Unable to get that goal, kind of, build upon that lead, and then you make a mistake of your own here. They're able to get a lot of time on attack because of that. Not really too many dangerous looks. The best play that they had was that rebound play. We'll see what hREDS tries to pull out.
Teemu at the point, looks for the Domi switch in front. It's Benito who couldn't hold it. ML finds a bit of space in a foot race. The spin move doesn't work out that time. It was a great recovery by Teemu. Benito for Villapoika. Turnover and cleared. 1 minute to go in the hREDS power play. Domi holds up at the line. Villapoika down low. Benito back to him in front. Great stop by Vamo. Teemu again, final 15 seconds. Domi a little bit of trouble. Nicky Dangles back to the point. We're back to 5-on-5. Deflected shot is saved. Both teams with an unsuccessful power play opportunity. That one sent up the middle. Satapoika trying to find a bit of space. Captain to his right. Able to hold that puck. Pannin into Make Axel. Heimo still being held to the outside. Vast majority of their ozone time. Here's Sakam. He can't hold it. And now it's an hREDS counterattack. 4-on-3 developing. Villapoika's shot off a leg. Kicked back to the point. Teemu for Domi. Shot saved and paddled away. Right along the boards. Benito tries to go back to Nicky Dangles. Get a clean shot. Here's Heimo. Shot! That was a rocket, but goes wide and all the way back to the Heimo zone.
I like that look, though, right there. Sneaking in the right defenseman, and they make that pass off the half wall there. Definitely something that I think Heimo's going to want to go back to, as, the middle of the ice simply isn't opening up, so they're going to have to try, quick kind of plays like that, taking the space that's given to them as they work that perimeter. Really good execution on that. Unfortunately, it didn't go in and bounce all the way back into their zone, but those are the kind of looks that they're going to have to go for. Quick kind of plays that put shots on.
They feed all the way up the ice. 2-on-1 here. Pannin tried to go back to the short side, and again, the recovery defensive Teemu on display. Villapoika across, they score! What a turn of events there on that play. Looked like it was going to be Heimo able to add to their lead, but instead, Yet again, Benito finds the back of the net sin, and we're tied at 1.
I initially thought that was going to be an own goal simply because of the positioning of the defender right here. You're going to see, that's Sada Poika, perfectly playing Benito, just kind of in front of him, and the goal was credited to Benito, so he must have gotten that pass, and how it went in, who knows, but in it goes, and hREDS have tied it.
Again, 2 examples now of Heimo not being able to find that insurance marker. We are tied at 1. hREDS still in the attacking zone. They move for Nicky Dangles, broken up. Domi avoids a lot of trouble. Looking, shot, blocked down. Heimo again looking for a strong counterattack. Sada Poika able to maintain possession. Down low for Ponanen, wanted to go back to him. Again, in terms of individual skill, it's tough to find someone as creative as Ponanen as that shot. Doesn't find a way through. We approach the final minute. Nicky Dangles reverses back to the point. Heimo, a little bit of trouble, gets it to Domi. Looking to circle back, held it for a bit too long. In a battle there with Emil. Offside with 16 seconds to go.
That was a tremendous stick lift by Domi right there, right before the Heimo skater got the puck. He's able to lift that, be able to try to work it back in. Leads to an offside right there, but those are just those little things that the hREDS defensive pairing are so good at.
Final few seconds, one more chance for hREDS. Nicky Dangles sent to the ice, and that one just wide. Near glove save from FaZe. At the end, Benito, the tying goal as we head to the 3rd period.
And once again, Heimo kind of in that tough situation where they got off to a good start, got an early goal, unable to build on that. They had the power play opportunity. They had another breakaway. They've had some odd man rushes, and it's been so hard for them to capitalize. In part, FaZe. Another part has been either Domi or Teemu making really good plays in a 2-on-1 scenarios to disrupt things, and that's why it's so hard to be able to beat a team like hREDS, because even when there's a breakdown, the individual skill level of these players, we'll get a look at it right here. So, oh man, yeah, he gets his stick in front. Even though Sada Poika has that body position, it's Benito who somehow gets the shot away. It looks like he's Sada Poika going for that puck pickup, and his stick just gets kind of pushed, and it looked like almost both of them shot right there. But yeah, Benito's, yeah, I don't really know, but it's a goal for hREDS.
I was just waiting to see how you were going to explain that one. I would define it as a controller spike waiting to happen, and Benito does it again. An early goal here in the 3rd period as hREDS take the lead.
Quick play in front, hard forecheck in the corner there. Sorry, not it was a bump that was kind of avoided, and you just kick it back out front. I mean, again, it's just pucks and bodies to the net, and I don't think Benito's rocking like no contest or anything either. I think he's got make it snappy, and yeah, I don't know how he keeps finding these pucks, but it's not coincidence at this point.
I think he has make it snappy and puck on a string for that faster movement, so he's able to make that work incredibly well. And now Heimo again, very familiar situation. They score first and give up the next 2. Again, losing game 1 4-1. They need that next goal if there's one to be found, as Teemu gets absolutely lit up in the corner. Patience from Sada Poika. Here's Ponanen. Chips it down low. Now back to the point. And again to the corner. Sada Poika takes a big hit. Here's hREDS. Nicky Dangles for Villapoika. Across. Sock him there to take it away. 6 minutes gone. Again, that goal less than a minute into the period. Poika down low. Wanted to go. That short side post, it's taken away. Here's Benito over the line, taken away once more by Heimo. A lot of quick changes of possession, and Heimo will finally look to settle it down.
Yeah, again, time now is against them, and that's what's so hard to do to be able to score against hREDS when you're up against it here, and you can see those entries turning into transitions.
Like the centering feed, Benito back and they score! They will make you pay for mistakes. They do it again. Villapoica, 3 unanswered for hREDS. It's 3-1.
Benito's just so sick. I don't know what to say. He had the puck in a prime location to just rip a shot on, and 9 times out of 10, you'll see someone just shoot from there. But he has the wherewithal to just hold it for a split second and kick that back. It's a beautiful, kind of broken entry right there. But you see that little pass from Nicky Dangles. Started getting Vamo moving that other way. Benito decides, I won't shoot. He passes to Villapoica, and, well, there's a bounce.
That puck ping-pongs around, and we have a goal for Heimo. Certainly caught us off guard. Doesn't happen too often, but I think we got mesmerized watching that one. Emil going to be credited for the goal, and Heimo's right back in this one.
Yeah, kind of just on a nothing play, a backhand from around the top of the hash marks right there. And it just goes in. Tough break for hREDS, but that's exactly what Heimo needs here. A little bit of a breath of life here, half the third to work with.
Right off of Teemu. A shout out to everyone coming over from Eki's stream. Of course, the Lunda squad playing some games today as well. Game 1, 4-1 for hREDS. Again, now 9 minutes to go here in the third period. Suddenly a 1-goal game yet again. As Heimo able to find, I mean, a rather fortunate bounce, but hey, it counts. See what hREDS can do as, again, you can see the aggressiveness in Paananen trying to make something happen at his blue line to force the rush down the other way. Benito nearly finds the back of the net yet again. Back to the point. Teemu down low for Nicky Dangles, takes the hit. 6 minutes left here for Heimo to try to make something happen. hREDS not going to give up, though. Villapoica able to hold on. Throws it off the back of the net. Good pressure, centering feed. Huge contact there. Takes Villapoica down. Heimo need to take advantage of that extra space out there if they can, but they cannot. hREDS a great job in the scramble to knock it back to the neutral zone, and just communication at the line, and all of a sudden, Sin, just 4 minutes left for Heimo.
Yeah, a lot of time ticked off the clock when Heimo was struggling to get out of their zone, but that's what hREDS can do to you. They suffocate you, and it's not just in their own end. They suffocate you by keeping that puck down low in your own end, and it's just a great job by them to kill a lot of time, and situation getting more and more dire right there. That was a good zone entry attempt. Sockman just trying to push that in, and then, you know, gain the line. Emil having speed. You know, he got a couple opportunities to make that pass or try to delay and set things up for the rest of your team coming in. Didn't quite click, though, and every single kind of missed opportunity like that is costly at this stage for Heimo.
Turnover, and a poke check there for Satapoika. Risky to not end up with the tripping call. Still in possession, Make Axel. Paananen glove save by FaZe. With 1:43 to go in regulation.
Again, time the biggest factor right here. We're seeing Heimo look for like kind of a top quality opportunity. They may not come. I would like to see Paananen in that situation kind of shoot a bit lower and have people crash.
That one deflects wide. Paananen able to recover. Satapoika tries the feed. hREDS there to take it away. Points were open. Here's Villapoica trying to weave his way through. Trouble for Vamo as he has to paddle it over to that far side. Make Axel, good play. Emil for Paananen across, kept out by FaZe. Was in the butterfly early. 42 seconds to go.
Yeah, definitely don't mind seeing that force right there with that quick sort of transition off the slat pass. That's kind of the only opportunity you're going to have against hREDS to be able to make those work.
Make Axel again in possession. Poika takes the hit. Still able to hold shot on. Perfectly squared to it was FaZe.
Yeah, not a bad look right there. You're aiming kind of low for the rebound. It gets up a little bit. FaZe just swallows it up as he did so well at the end of last game, too.
Clean win for Sadapoika. Make Axel the move. Loose puck still bouncing around. And a rough bounce takes it all the way out of the zone. Make Axel still in possession. Shot kicked away by FaZe. hREDS trying to kill the rest of this clock. They'll back off. Vamo heads to the bench. Emil over the line. Benito takes it away. Tried to go off the boards. Vamo was there. 3 seconds to go. Ponanen shot. Blockered away. And hREDS survive it. A 3-2 victory in game 2. 4 points on the night. And a great performance for the former champions.
Absolutely. Two games where, they were the better team, perhaps not by a large margin, but they were the ones to capitalize on their chances. They were the ones to make their opponents pay for their mistake, and a lot of the time they were dictating the pace of play, particularly as the game wore on. Both times they overcame in a relatively early 1-0 deficit to come back to win, and that's what great teams do here, and this was kind of that first big test for Heimo this season. They got off to a great start, great early record, but if you want to go all the way, you're going to have to beat a team like hREDS. And in this one, they do, fall short, as hREDS, again, just kind of suffocated them when they needed to. Got the counterattacks and made their opponents pay for their mistakes when they needed to. And, that's kind of what Heimo needs to be able to do a bit better. There was a couple power plays that they had there where they really didn't generate a whole lot. It looked like they were looking for something that wasn't there, and by the time they just decided to take a few other looks and maybe try to crash the net, get some jam type plays, it just was too late. And you have to be decisive against a team like hREDS. You have to be able to take what they give you and make something with it, because hREDS oftentimes is not going to allow you to get the looks that you want and get those high percentage looks. And man, what a play right there. The pass between the legs there. So much traffic. And again, somehow Benito finds it and rips it on quickly. He is just a magical player.
I think they'll be a little bit hard pressed by that one Benito goal in particular.
Yeah.
This is the type of game, though, for Heimo. I mean, we always talk about, like, hey, look back. Genuinely, I think for Heimo, look back at these 2 games can kind of see what you need to clean up a little bit to be able to, not just hang in there with hREDS. These were winnable games, certainly, for Heimo. I think it's just, fine-tuning things just a little bit more and kind of studying what went wrong, what you could do a little bit differently. This could be a set of games that really serves as a massive learning experience for Heimo if they were to, kind of make the most of it and really look back and be reflective on what they could change. But at the end of the day, I mean, a great performance, though, from hREDS. And I mean, man, you mentioned it, Benito, so far this season. I mean, he has played at such a high level in the past, obviously. And yeah, he seems to be taking it to an entirely different level this season. He has been absolutely outstanding in the games that we've seen from him on broadcast so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real other way to put it. I like that point you brought up about Heimo, this kind of being used as a learning experience for them. That's what you have to do it as. And you said it. Yeah, at times, maybe slightly missed opportunity. As you said, these were both winnable games for them. They are in great situations from the get-go. Something that's not easy to do is to have a lead on hREDS, especially early on. They had it in both situations. So it's just about, how do you build upon that? Because you can't hold it. You're not going to hold a 1-goal lead against hREDS too often. So how do you build upon that? What can they change? And again, learn from this. Take the positives out of it and build from there.
So with that, our first 2 games of the broadcast are in the books. After a brief intermission, we'll be back for our second series of the night as Yippee Vaskala take on Red Hawks Esports. So stick with us, and we'll be back in just a few moments.